Hey everyone, I know it's been a long time since I've given an update. I think my last update was like 8 months ago at this point, and I am sorry. I've just had a lot going on in life. I didn't mean to leave anyone hanging on my updates or anything, but um, I've just been in a better place and I've been focusing on um, my life, some new things. I signed up for school, so that's been keeping me pretty busy on top of, uh, all my kids and their stuff going on too. And all the stuff with my husband. He owns a business, and you know how that goes. That lot goes into that too. So there's just a lot going on in my life, and it's just been uh, preoccupying, I guess is the word. So I just wanted to make a video to update everyone that's been following my anxiety journey, more specifically with sertraline, treating it with the generic version of Zoloft, which is sertraline. So basically, at this point, it has almost been 1 year since I've been on it. Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, because I started in like the end of September of 2022, and now it's September of 2023. That's wild to me. It has been a journey. Let me just say that. I've spoken about it in previous videos. You'll see the videos that I posted when I started sertraline were raw, completely. My feelings, I laid it all out there. I was going through it. I was not in a good place. My anxiety at that point was like controlling my life. And I can't say that I've ever had it that bad to where like it affected my life that much, ever. So in hindsight, I want to say it was just a buildup of a bunch of different things happening in my life. Of course, COVID happened, the lockdowns, that was very stressful for everyone. I lost my dad during that time and my grandpa, not due to COVID, but just other things going on. We bought a house during that time, so it was hard to celebrate such a big win when that same day I picked up my keys, it was my dad's funeral. So it was hard to kind of deal with that. And then like a few months later, that's when my grandpa died. And I was pregnant during the time too, so that was even more stressful. And the pregnancy was like really hard because I had massive pelvic pain. And for anyone that has any sort of like chronic pain that halts their life, man, that stuff is hard. And I mean, lucky for me, that was just because of my pregnancy and the pain went away after I gave birth. But man, for anyone that has like lifelong, long-term chronic pain like that, that takes a lot of mental strength to get through. That's for sure. Anyways, so I don't know. When I moved out of my mom's house and into the home that my husband and I purchased, we moved to a town where we didn't know anyone. So I think that definitely, when you're already feeling lonely because you're isolated from COVID and then you move away, like that was the first time I had been away from my mom. We moved away 2 hours away from her, and suddenly I just felt like very lonely. And then like all of these horrible things were happening. And it was just a big adjustment, lots of changes, and a lot of emotions going on all at once. And I didn't take time to like work on my mental health to make sure that I was having some, I don't know what I needed, some breaks. I definitely think that talking to a therapist during that time would have been beneficial for me. But um, I don't know if this is true for you, but it's definitely true for me when I was going through all of that, I didn't realize that I was probably depressed and that my anxiety was starting to take over in the manner that it was. I didn't realize it until it became out of control to the point where it was like affecting my life, my sleeping, my eating, the way that my thought process. Yeah, I didn't realize the buildup until it was a mountain. And at that point, I definitely needed help. And then when you start getting treatment, it's like a slow process to slowly like undo that mountain and get back to like your baseline where you feel normal and like able to like cope and manage with like everyday stressors. And to have just like healthy habits. Like now I know like I'm stressed out. I need to relax. I'm not going to let this build up. It's time to take a time out. It's time to address what's going on in in my mind, because I don't want my mental health to go off the rails by ignoring it or pushing feelings to the side or not addressing what needs to be addressed. Or if I realize, oh, I'm picking up some bad habits, I need to start implementing the good stuff again, like I need to exercise, I need to eat healthy, I need to take time for myself, I need a break, I need space from my children, I need my me time. Those are all things that I definitely start to pay attention to when I'm feeling stressed out. So with sertraline, I started at 25 milligrams. And I've stayed on that. My original dosing was supposed to be 50 milligrams. But every time I had tried to start off there or get there, try again to take 50, it just made my anxiety really bad and I didn't want to struggle through that. So I just stuck with 25 and that's where I've stayed. I even had an opportunity to bump up to 37.5. But even that, I don't know if it was just in my head or what, but I didn't like it. So I went back to 25. And that's what I've been on consistently for the last year now. And I've been doing therapy for a little over a year. And I will say, starting the sertraline helped me get to a place that made therapy beneficial in a sense where I was calm enough to be present during the therapy session and like understand what I could do differently to help me manage my anxiety a little bit better. Where before, like when you're actively in anxiety, you're just looking for someone to fix your anxiety. You're like hoping that one therapy session is going to be what you need to take the anxiety away, because you can't handle the anxiety. You just want it to go away. You can't live like that. You just need it to be gone, because all you can think about is that feeling, whether it's in your stomach or your gut or wherever else you feel it, your heart. That terrible feeling of anxiety that you just want to crawl out of your skin away from. When you're able to be calm first and then go into therapy and say, you know what, I have anxiety, then you can take in the advice of the therapist by communicating more what's going on. Okay, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Let's try this. Let's change the way you think about a situation. And for me, that has been the biggest thing. Taking accountability for my own emotions, for what I do have control over, and changing my mindset to just think more positively and not so negative and doomsday, like, oh my gosh, everyone is out to get me. Like, I'm the victim. Everything is happening to me. All of this stuff is going on. I have so much on my plate. I don't know what to do with it because I'm a mom and this is my job and I have no other choice, but then you have someone else tell you, well, focus on the things you can control at this moment in life. And what are those things? And then working together and making a list of those things. Okay, well, you're worried about this. Well, what can you do about that situation? Is there anything you can do, or is there really nothing that you can do? Are you totally helpless? And usually the answer is no, I'm not totally helpless about this situation. These are the things I can do. And then focus on the things that I can do, the things I can change. That has been so helpful for me. But I'll tell you, before I started sertraline, I was doing therapy for, I think, 3 months at that point, and there was no change. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have no idea what is wrong with me. And I was worried that I was just going to have like a mental breakdown and end up having to go like be checked into a clinic. I was like, man, I feel completely out of control of my anxiety, of my emotions, of my mental health. It was scary. I've never felt that way before. I've always had some level of anxiety. I've been to the hospital with a panic attack before, a few times in high school. So anxiety was nothing new to me, but at this level, yes, it was extremely new to me. And going back to my pregnancy, I feel like it's probably started off with like postpartum depression that I never had treated. So at that point, it was just like, yeah, it was just wild because I wasn't getting the help that I needed, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I didn't realize there was a problem with me until it was like affecting those around me. There was a whole summer I just stayed in my bed. Actually, I think the majority of like a year I just stayed in my bed. And I was really weird about like what I ate because I had convinced myself that I had like an autoimmune disorder. So I was like trying weird diets where I would cut out like a lot of things. And so I was very worried about eating. And that, those are subtle little signs like, hey, I think something's wrong. When you start going to extremes like that, or you feel like there's something wrong with you and you go to doctor after doctor after doctor, and the doctors are like, you're good, but we can try more tests. And then those tests are like, you're good. But then you're like, no, there's something else. There's something else there. There has to be. Like you're looking for a reason for why your life feels like crap, or you feel like crap, or you just don't feel normal. And in my case, it was all my anxiety and a little bit of depression. That was it for me. And I was just letting those things run wild, which were affecting my body negatively. Because stress can do lots of things. You can lose weight, you can lose your hair, you can have skin issues, you can have gut issues. Look at IBS. You can be on the toilet all the time because of your anxiety. That was me for a little bit. You can throw up and be nauseous all the time. Like it affects your body physically. And at that point, that's where I was. I was just going to different doctors trying to figure out what was wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. There's got to be something wrong with me. And as soon as I started treating my anxiety, all of those things went away. I haven't been to the doctor since, other than for my pregnancy, which I'll get into that again. I'm pregnant, or I'll get into that now. I'm pregnant with my 5th child. So that And it was unplanned. So imagine you're like trying to fix your anxiety, and then all of a sudden you have news of an unplanned pregnancy, and it's your 5th child. Okay. And your last pregnancy was really rough. So you're worried about all of those things. So yeah, there was like a week in January where my anxiety was like super, super high. And I was so thankful to be able, right now I have a psychiatrist that I talk to about like my medication. And then I have a therapist that I talk to about like difficulties that I'm going through. And she's more, I want to say, like a coach to me, to keep me on track with my goals and to keep my feelings in check and to really help empower me when it comes to having control over my own mental health. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I would ever let go of my therapist, just because it improves my life so much having therapy. It really does. It keeps me on track. Stress is a weird thing. It can just kind of sweep you away and you start like doomsdaying everything or worrying about things too much. And then the therapist is there to be like, whoa, okay, let's come back down to earth for a minute and let's think about this logically. While at the same time making you feel like you can choose whether you do something or you don't do something. If something is stressing you out, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. You can do whatever you want to do, but just know. And then, it's those types of conversations, like you should probably take a break from school and go enjoy yourself a little bit, because if you spend all of your time doing school, you're just going to become burnout. So go have a little break, even if that break is causing anxiety to think about, it's probably going to feel better after you do it. And you'll be able to come back to your work a little bit more present because you've had that break. Anyways, I just think that therapy is awesome. And my psychiatrist, I only talk to like, I think the last time I spoke to her was like 4 months ago. So with her, I have created a game plan to come off of the sertraline, which I was ready to do months ago, like back in February, I think, or March. But she cautioned me. She didn't tell me what to do, but she just cautioned that going off of it right now when I'm already anxious about being pregnant, and there was a huge change in my husband's work that was very stressful. And those two things together, plus the risk of postpartum depression afterwards, again, she urged me to just stay on it until, I think it was 3 months postpartum, just to make sure that I don't have any like backtracking, that I just stay steady and don't have any major like changes during this time that I'm already stressed out. Because they say when you're feeling good and you felt good for a little bit, you can probably come off of it. If you're not doing good and you come off of it, it's probably not going to be beneficial for you. You should stay on it or think about bumping up if you're still not doing well. But there are some things that I've learned as far as managing my stress so that I don't get to a point where I need medication in the future. But again, I have not come off of it yet, so I don't know. Even though I'm at a low dose, I have no idea what that's going to look like when I do come off of it. But I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you guys all in the loop. I am going to try to be better at posting videos more regularly again. And man, I didn't realize that all of these, just me sharing my experience with you all would be so helpful. So, I know that mental health is, everyone needs to work on their mental health. Everyone, has things they're going through, But whew, anxiety is just one of those things that so many people deal with, and they're not managing it at all, you know? And I think that if everyone just took a little bit of time to work on themselves, or not work on themselves, that sounds like, oh, everyone needs a lot of work. But if you just, it's like exercise, you know? They say that you should exercise so many minutes a week or so many minutes a day or whatever for your physical health. Well, I think everyone needs to have those like mental breaks where they can just sit and be a vegetable for a little bit, or go out and do something enjoyable that like refills your bucket, or get, you need to relieve your stress in some way. You can't just let it keep piling up and piling up and piling up. You need to talk through your emotions. You can't just like ignore them and like push them deep down, because eventually they're going to bubble up and you're going to have to deal with them. So you can let off a little steam each week, or you can deal with the big steam, the big blow up when everything comes to a head. You know what I mean? You just got to take care of yourself, and you got to take care of your mental health. That's one of the things that's part of yourself. And everyone deserves to be happy and to feel happy and to not be anxious about every little thing. Like normal anxiety, like, oh, I'm so nervous to meet this person, or oh my gosh, I don't really like eating in restaurants because it makes me feel uncomfortable. Okay, those things. But when you can't sleep anymore and you don't want to leave your house, and like just sitting down and you have a thought pops into your head and then you get a panic attack, that's not normal. That's not normal. That's no life to live. So if you're feeling like you just can't get away from your anxiety and that it's controlling your life, I urge you to seek help in some way. And yeah, I think that's basically all I have to say about that. I guess a year later on sertraline, I'll just wrap it up. This is my experience with it. It took a while before it started to work. It was up and down. So for the first 2 months at least, I would say it took about 2 months. 1 week I would feel like, oh my gosh, it's working. And then like the next week I would be like, my anxiety's back. It's not working. Oh my gosh, do I need to bump it up? I'm not sure what to do. It's not working. I guess it's not going to work. And then the next, that would only last like a couple days. And then I would feel back to, okay, I feel okay. I feel good. I think it's working. And then there would be like, that would last for a week or so. And then there would be a couple of days where I would just dip down again and have that anxiety. Like seriously, a roller coaster. But then it would only last like a couple days. And then I would feel good for a little bit longer. And then maybe it would come back again. So there is that. And that's completely normal. And I looked that up. And a lot of people said, it could take like up to 16, I don't know if they said 16 weeks, but I think 2 to 3 months, try it out. And then I think they say after that, go back to your doctor and be like, hey, this isn't working if you still don't feel good. But definitely within 3 months, I was feeling a lot more normal. And even just immediately starting the medicine, I was able to sleep for, like I was able to sleep normally. And maybe I'd have like one odd night or two where I would have that anxiety and the panic attacks in the middle of the night. But it wasn't like before I started where I would have it every single night and not be able to sleep at all, or wake up at like 4 a.m. and not be able to go back to sleep and be having my panic attack and my bubble guts and my nausea and everything else. So side effects, libido did drop for sure. That's something I've noticed. A little bit of weight gain, nothing like huge, but definitely like not changing much of my lifestyle, but still gaining a few pounds. And in this pregnancy, I've gained like a lot of weight pretty quickly. And I have always gained like around like 35, 40 pounds with each pregnancy that I've had before. And I've already hit that like 40-pound mark, and I still have like another month and a half to go. So that is weird. And I'm not sure if it's related to the sertraline or not. But since that's the only difference, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Weight gain is definitely a side effect. But again, before my pregnancy, the weight gain was really just a few pounds, like maybe within 5 pounds at the most. So, and that's, to me, I was like, I'd rather gain like a couple pounds than feel the way that I felt. So that was no big deal. Can't think of anything else. The time I took my medicine was in the morning. I know some people, it makes them, like you can take it in the daytime and it's fine. Others, it makes them sleepy, so you should take it at nighttime. For me, I did better taking it in the morning because it seemed to, I don't want to say it made me a little hyper, but it definitely didn't make me drowsy, that's for sure. So I take it in the morning, and at first, I took it like at the same time every single day because I was so worried about the brain zaps that you hear about. And I took it with food because people really warn you, like, oh, it could really like upset your stomach. You need to take it with food and yada, yada, yada. And make sure it's at the same time every single day. No. I was religiously taking it with my breakfast at like 8 o'clock every single morning. But since then, I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't remember if I even took my medicine or not. You know, in the beginning, I was obsessed. And now I'm like, I don't even know if I took it. Or I'm like, oh crap, I got to take my medicine. I'm like a few hours late to take it. So, and that's been fine. Now sometimes I take it before I've eaten anything, and my stomach is completely fine. It doesn't cause me like diarrhea or anything. But in the beginning, taking it, I think I did have some stomach changes, you know, like I did have a sensitive stomach when I first started taking it, but that didn't last long. After I leveled out, after the first couple months, everything was completely normal. And now everything, I don't even notice that I don't know what it does because I just take it and it's like a vitamin to me, pretty much. So I'll be interested to see what it's like to come off of it. But yeah, for me, it's just like a helpful little pill that has helped me in my life make the changes that I wanted to make to go forward, to help me realize my goals again, and to help me enjoy my life again. Especially after that like rough patch of life of losing people and going through a scary pandemic and moving away, like so many big changes, and having a painful pregnancy and having a baby in NICU. And it was just a lot that I didn't manage. And so at that point, medication was necessary for me. So yeah, I say I was super scared to take it. I actually had it prescribed to me for a couple months before I decided I just have to try it because I'm not going to have those around me affected by my own state of being when there possibly is a solution that has been prescribed to me, but I'm too afraid to take it. Like, I was just like, I have to try because I love those around me too much to have them watch me lay in bed all day and have panic attacks all the time. I didn't want my children watching me like that. I didn't want my husband affected by me calling him during work, asking, when are you coming home? I'm having a panic attack. I don't want to be alone. I just couldn't do that anymore. So that's what ultimately led me to start taking it. And I'm really glad that I did. And if you are hesitant about taking it, I urge you to try it if your doctor has prescribed it, and just keep in communication with them at all times. I had my doctor on email and I would just be like, hey, Is this normal? I think this is too high. Can I start with a lower dose? Hey, I don't think this is working. Can I try a higher dose? Hey, okay, that higher dose didn't work for me, so I'm just going to go back down to a lower dose, okay? Like, yeah, it may have sounded crazy, but I was communicating everything I was doing with my doctor, like just making sure they knew what was going on. And some people need like Xanax to get through the times to help calm them down while they're still getting better. I did use the Xanax. I don't feel like it helped because it was such a low dose. My doctor ended up saying, you could take 2 if you want. But at that point, I was like, I don't want to be on this. I'll just try other things. So I stuck to like YouTube meditations to get me through those times, and like waking up and going for walks when I really needed just to change the scenery or to get through the times when I just felt like I didn't want to sit and be still. So, all right, this video has been way too long. But yeah, that's it. Side effects, nothing major. The weight gain is the crappiest thing, but really 5 pounds over that feeling of anxiety is way worth it. And also, I've been eating normally, so that's probably part of the 5 pounds. If I actually tried to diet and like do intense exercise, that probably would have helped, but I didn't. Once I started feeling good, I just wanted to enjoy my life. And I wanted to enjoy food without worrying about, is this gonna, affect my body in XYZ way. So, yeah. The libido thing does stink though. But hey, those are other issues. When it comes to mental health, I give it a thumbs up. And if you're hesitant about taking it, just try it. Just try it. And keep in touch with your doctors at all times. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope that you all feel better if you are dealing with anxiety. I know it sucks, but it's not forever. It's just a phase of life, and you'll get past it. Just like me. I didn't think I would ever. When you're going through it, you don't think you'll ever. But yeah, you will. Everything will be okay. And yeah, life is good. Okay. I'm going to end it now because my baby's crying. Have a good day. Sleep well.